What's up everybody, and welcome back in for episode 6 of Swiss Cheese and Beats. My name is Daniel Ascari and I'm here to help you get better faster in percussion performance. And what we're going to talk about today is how to identify the 4 types of strokes that we've learned from episode 3 and 4. Now it's important that you understand how to play these 4 types of strokes, but it's even more important to be able to identify these types of strokes when you're looking at a piece of music. So in order to identify what type of stroke we're supposed to play when we're looking at music, we have to look at what kind of note we're going to play and where that note is going to in the same hand. So here are the 4 types of sequences that you have to be aware of in order to do this correctly. If the first note you're going to play is an accent, and the next note you're going to play in the same hand as an accent, then that first note would be a rebound stroke. If the first note you play is an accent, but you're going to a non-accent, then that first note you play would then be a downstroke. If you're going from a non-accented note to another non-accented note, then that first note you would play would be a tap stroke. And finally, if the note you're going to play is a non-accented note and you're going to an accented note, then that first note would be an upstroke. So here's a great exercise for you to do in order to make sure that you fully understand not only how to identify types of strokes, but also execute them. So we're going to have 4 quarter notes, and these 4 quarter notes are all going to be played on the same hand. It's going to be one measure of 4/4, and the first 2 quarter notes are going to be accented, and the third and fourth quarter notes are going to be unaccented. So our first note is an accent, our second note is an accent, so that first note that we play is going to be a rebound stroke. So we would start in the high position, which would be here. We're going to strike the drum, and we're going to return to this high position, like so. So the second note we play is accented, but then the third note is not accented. So we're going from an accent to a non-accent, which would be a downstroke. Start in the high position. To play a downstroke, we're going to end in the low position, like so. So the first 2 notes we play are going to be both accented. They're both going to sound the same, but they are 2 different strokes. The first one's a rebound stroke. The second one's a downstroke. The third note is a non-accented note, so we would start in the low position. And the fourth note is also a non-accented note, so we would stay in the low position. So moving from non-accent to a non-accent, that would be a tap stroke, which would be played like so. So let's put these 3 notes together. First note is an accented rebound stroke. Second note is an accented downstroke. Third note is a non-accented tap stroke. So the fourth note is a non-accented note, and because we have a repeat sign, we would go back and play the very first note of the measure, which is an accent. So we're going from a non-accent to an accent, and that would be an upstroke. And upstrokes start in the low position and end in the high position, like so. So all together now, here would be the 4 quarter notes, first 2 accented, first 2 not accented, and I would end in the high position to get ready for the repeat. One more time. So what I like to do to break this down even further with my students is I'll split this up into 2 measures, and on 1 and 3 of each measure, I have them say the note name out loud, and then on 2 and 4, they would execute the type of stroke they just said. So this is how that would be done. We start in the prep position, and we start by saying the note names first. Rebound, down, tap, up. Rebound, down, tap, up. When you feel comfortable with that, you can go ahead and take out saying the note names and play these as 4 quarter notes together. You'll do it twice on each hand, and you'll stop with 1 quarter note at the end to complete the exercise. Now the last thing to do with this is to go ahead and start in the set position, which is where your hands and sticks are right over the drum. And as we've discussed before, we're going to go ahead and prep on the end of 4 in order to get us to the high position. So here's the exercise from the set position, and I'm going to go ahead and count myself off so you can see when I start my prep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now applying this to a piece of music, we're going to take this very simple pattern of 1/8 notes, we're going to put a few accents in there, and we're going to play it with natural sticking, meaning all the downbeats would be on the right hand, and all the upbeats would be on the left hand, since it's just 1/8 notes. The very first right hand we play would be an accent. The second right hand we play would be a non-accent. So this first note we play is going to be a downstroke. The next note is on the left hand, and it is a non-accent, but the next left hand we play is an accent. So we're going from a non-accent to an accent, that would be an upstroke. The next note we play is on the right hand, and it's a non-accent, and the next right hand we play is also a non-accent. So a non-accent to a non-accent would be a tap stroke. So here would be the first three notes of this pattern. One more time. The next note we play is in the left hand, and it's an accent going to a non-accent, so that would make it a downstroke. The next note is a right hand, it's a non-accent going to an accent, so that would be an upstroke. And the next hand is a left hand non-accent going to another non-accent, and that would be a tap stroke. These next three strokes would be the exact same type of strokes as our first three notes, except off the left. So here would be the second set of three notes, and my left hand would be in the prep position already, since it's coming off the upstroke on the end of one. So altogether here are the first six notes of this pattern, starting in the set position. The next note, or the downbeat of 4, is an accent, and our next right hand is a quarter note by itself, completing this pattern, which is also an accent. So we're going from an accent to another accent, that would be a rebound stroke. The last note on the end of 4 is a non-accent, but we don't have another left coming up, so we're going to go ahead and call that a non-accent as well, and a non-accent to a non-accent would be a tap stroke. Finally, we're on our last note. Our last note is just a single quarter note, that's an accent. Nothing follows, so we're going from an accent to a non-accent, that would be a downstroke. So these last three notes we play would be rebound stroke, tap stroke, downstroke, like so. So altogether, here's how we would play these two measures. Now I'm going to play this pattern for you one more time, and there's something I want you to take special notice of. My sticks are in consistent motion almost the entire time I'm playing. The only time they ever somewhat hesitate or come to a stop is on a downstroke or maybe a tap stroke. And the only reason that's even happening right now is because I'm going at a very slow tempo. So I'm going to play this pattern for you one more time, and keep your eye on my sticks and how they're in constant motion. This is extremely important for you to understand and grasp, because as we start moving into faster tempos, you are not going to have time to stop and restart the motion of your sticks. If I were to try to play this pattern at a faster tempo, but stop my sticks after everything I played, it would not only sound awkward, but it would look extremely and feel very uncomfortable. That causes me to over squeeze in the sticks, it kills the sound. There's so many bad things that happen from this. Remember, don't kill the vibration happening in your sticks, allow your sticks to breathe, and this will set you up for success as you play faster. So I'm going to play the same pattern, I'm going to play it a few times, and each time I'll get a little bit faster, and the motion of my sticks and the strokes don't change. Now that you have an understanding on just how to identify and execute types of strokes, we can start getting into more complex rhythms as well as exercises. Question of the day is, what fundamental aspect of drumming do you think is most important and why? Leave that down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's video and you found it useful, please give us a thumbs up. If you have yet to do so, also please consider subscribing. Be on the lookout for the second episode of the special edition series. It'll be a 3-part series where we talk about how to read music. Thanks again for stopping by. See you soon.